My name is Patricia DeSasno. I am the Special Emphasis Program Manager for Federal Women's Program in BRS, Biotechnology and Regulatory Services. And it is truly my great honor to welcome you to this celebration of Women's History Month. This was organized by the Office of Civil Rights, Diversity and Inclusion with some collaboration from BRS. I am one of 260 Special Emphasis Program Managers in the U.S. Department of Agriculture. We represent the different programs in the field and in headquarters, and we all work to promote diversity and inclusion in the department. So, our theme this year is honoring trailblazing women in labor and business. And I have to say, we certainly have many trailblazing women in APHIS. I would invite you to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we go on, I would like to thank you all for being here today, and especially I would like to thank Ms. Adrienne Burke and all those who have worked and contributed to put this program together, and our speakers today, Bernadette Juarez and Jen Cronenberg. And I would like now to introduce you to Ms. Bernadette Juarez.
Ms. Bernadette Juarez is the Deputy Administrator for the Animal Care Program in APHIS. Bernadette leads the program's 210 employees in protecting and ensuring the welfare of millions of animals nationwide. She previously served in investigative and enforcement services in APHIS as Deputy Director and then as Director. And before joining APHIS, Bernadette served as a trial attorney in the USDA's Office of the General Counsel. Please, here is Bernadette.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for the introduction. I appreciate it. It's an honor to share some opening remarks to kick off this event, and it's good to see so many people in the room. Generally, when we think of Women's History Month, we think of strong women who have come before us to shape our world. But for the next few minutes, I'd like to focus on how women like those of us in the room today can make history each and every day. One way that we make history is by choosing not to accept current circumstances as our reality. If you've spent time with me or know me or seen me in meetings, you've probably heard me say, I don't accept this as my reality, even when others may be prepared to do so. I don't accept things as my reality because I know I can and must do better, whether it's a personal or professional matter. For example, I don't accept as my reality that by age 6, girls believe boys are smarter than them, which is what a recent study shows. We must create environments where all children thrive and have daily confidence in their self-worth regardless of gender. I don't accept as my reality that working mothers generally carry more than their share of the chores at home. Each day, we must teach and show our children that chores and parenting responsibilities are gender neutral and can be done by anyone. I don't accept as my reality that if I just lower the bar, I will be more satisfied and happy. I must coach, encourage, lead, and support others to leap over the bar and to stretch and to achieve great things. I don't accept as my reality that I cannot accomplish the fitness goals that I set for myself when I was 20 just because I'm twice that age. I must work harder and be more disciplined each and every day. I don't accept as my reality that we cannot end the cruel and inhumane practice of soaring horses. In August, I challenged both my team and the stakeholders to create within 18 to 24 months a framework for doing this very thing, and I've taken steps each and every day to move in this direction. I don't accept as my reality that Cindy Smith has been the only woman to serve as the administrator of APHIS. Soon, we must again make it one of us. I do not accept as my reality that I cannot have my cake and eat it too. With hard work, firm commitment, and deep resilience, I have the good fortune of working my dream job as the Deputy Administrator of Animal Care each and every day, caring for a beautiful family, and training for my second marathon. So now it's your turn. What will you not accept as your reality? And what will you do today and each and every day to change it? So with that, I'm going to introduce someone who has done a lot of things to change it. And it's Jen Kronberger. She's a widely sought after motivational speaker and president of J. Lynn Consulting Group, LLC. She runs a coaching program called Soul Tribe Evolution Project and has a radio show called The Possibility Project and writes a monthly column for a variety of publications and published her first book, 5 Words, These 5 Words Are Mine, in 2012. Thank you.
This thing on. I always wanted to say that. Good morning. Good morning. That was like okay. Have you seen it outside? It's beautiful. That was like very hard to say. Good morning. Good morning. They warmed you up and everything. It's a pleasure for me to be here this morning with you, celebrating Women's History Month. And being a part of this for me is awesome. So I just want to say thank you for having me up front. So, I want you to go back to the time when you were a little kid. How many of you remember that? For some of us, it was a lot longer ago than others, right? Okay. I'm pointing fingers here, don't worry. So, I want you to go back to that time when you thought you could be and do anything. You remember those? Those moments, those dreams, those big goals that you had? How many of you wanted to be something when you grew up? Specific. How many of you are doing it right now? Okay. So sit with that for a second. Because I want you to understand something, that when we are really small, we don't know any better. How many of you remember learning how to walk? Please don't raise your hand, that's weird. You can make a lot of money somewhere else, you shouldn't be sitting here. But if you think about learning how to walk, some of you I'm sure have seen a small child learn how to walk. You're like, okay, I've heard this one before. But I'm going to go deeper for a second. Because I want you to look at this from a different perspective. I want you to think about when you learned how to walk. And that very first time you stumbled, and then what happened? You probably fell down, right? And then what happened? You got back up. And then what happened? We could do this all day. Okay, so you fell down, you got up, you fell down, you got up. But here's what I want you to think about. That tells me, because you don't remember it, that tells me our ability to fall down and get back up is innate. We are born with that. That's not something we learn over time. That's not something we're taught. We did it. And we did it, and we did it, and we did it until we mastered it. And here you are. And you don't even remember doing it, do you? So I want you to go back to that mind of a child, because the mind of a child is fearless. When I was a little kid, I wanted to be the next Barbara Walters. Do you see it? Please say no. I'm not that old. But see, I go back to those times when life was simple. Before we were told, you can't do that. Before we started to say, I can't do that. When we thought we could do anything. When I was a kid, my desires were really simple. And I have to say some have not changed. Except thankfully the haircut. Not really sure what's going on there. But this is my reminder. This little kid is my reminder of the simple joys in life. Because we as adults overcomplicate everything, don't we? Yeah, we do. And you're going to see that a little bit later on. So I want you to go back to this mind of a child as I talk to you today, and I want you to think about what it was like to be fearless. I loved how you put it. And it so links into what I'm going to talk about. It was kind of, I was sitting there like, is she for real? Did she read my stuff? Because see, we write our stories every single day, don't we? Every day we write it. And we own it. And we believe it. We buy it, we sell it, we live it, and we become it. And the truth is that my reality? Is that the truth, or is that the story I'm telling myself? And I want you to think about that as we talk through some of these things today. So I go back to this little kid, and I think, maybe it really was just about what flavor of ice cream that day. Or maybe I just wanted to rule the world on my big wheel. I think I still do. Although I would not fit on that today. So I'm going to talk to you today about 5 C's. And I'm going to give you these 5 C's as a foundation for everything else we talk about. And before I get into that, I want to give you a little bit of background about me, about why I'm where I am today. So I was a 3-sport athlete growing up. Any athletes in the room? Look, you're all athletes. Do you get up, sit down? You're an athlete. That's what I call an athlete. You're moving, you're an athlete. Go get them. So I was a 3-sport athlete growing up. Softball was my first love. And I was being, softball player? There's always one. I see you. I was being recruited by some big Division I schools to play in college. I grew up in North Jersey. Don't hold it against me. And I actually messed up both my knees in a car accident. Didn't play at that level. However, I will tell you this. It's probably the best thing that ever happened to me, was to refocus on me and who I am outside of sports and who I wanted to become. So I realized during that period of time, I really had no idea what I wanted to do. I ended up at the University of Delaware. I got my degree in English with a concentration in journalism. Remember? Barbara Walters, right? And I remember graduating from college and I had no clue what I wanted to do with my life. Anyone? Still? Okay. Was that yesterday or today? And so when I graduated, I became, wait for it, a bartender. Mom and Dad were real proud. They were like, look at this lovely degree on the wall as the student loan bill checks were coming in, right? You know what I'm talking about. But here's what they said, and I'm going to tell you this was one of my first aha moments in my life. They said, Jen, you can be and do anything you want. Just make sure you love it. I said, fair enough. So I went into the corporate world. I spent 4 years in the corporate world. Wasn't for me, not very corporate. Sitting at a desk, I don't do well. So I said, okay, what's next? And after those 4 years, I said, I've got to find my passion, because that's what they told me. And so I went back into sports, because that's what I loved. And I started running camps and clinics for young people. So much so, I had such a following that I opened up a 20,000 square foot training facility for athletes. We were voted in 2008 by my Fox Philly hot list the #1 gym in the Philadelphia region. And we did not have one typical piece of gym equipment. Figure that out. See, I think we got it really quickly. It was about how we made those people feel when they walked in the door, and it was about how they felt when they walked out. It was about building relationships. Everything is about building relationships. And so out of that, in 2009, I was given the Chester County Chamber of Business and Industry Female Business Leader of the Year. And I remember saying, why me? You picked me out of all of these CEOs of these big companies and all of this stuff, and you picked me. Why me? And they said, there's a lot of different reasons, a lot of your success, a lot of the things you do in the community. But you made a statement a while back, and it stuck with us. You said you wanted to positively affect 1 million people in your lifetime. I said, that is correct. They said, we thought that was incredible. And so we chose you because of what you're trying to do. And I said, well, I haven't gotten there yet. And they said, you don't know that. I said, you're right. And some people laugh at that. They're like, that's immeasurable. That's not a SMART goal. Right? You know what I'm talking about. And I laughed and I said, but here's the truth. Does it really matter? If I can measure it. Because as long as I'm moving in that direction, does it matter if I ever really get there? I mean, maybe I hit 200,000. Is that okay? We set ourselves up to fail sometimes, don't we, when we put that thing out there, and if we don't get it exactly right. So out of that, I decided, okay, it's time to do something else. And my mantra in my life became, what's next? And so I went on to go back to school. I got my master's degree in sports and human performance psychology. I've worked with professional athletes. I've worked with 7-year-olds. I've worked with everything in between. Here's what I found. It's all the same stuff. It's all the same stuff, from the pro athlete to you, to me, to you. It is all the same stuff. We deal with everyday life the same. We just approach it differently. We just see it differently. And I'm going to open your eyes to some of that today. So here I am. And I don't feel like I work a day in my life. And sometimes I feel very guilty about that. My friends are all wishing away 5 days to have 2. Monday is my favorite day of the week. We'll come back to that. So let's talk about character as our first C. How many of you have ever heard this definition? Character is who you are when no one's watching. That's a good one, right? I like to add something to that, though. I like to say character is who you are and what you do when no one's watching and when everyone's watching. They can be 2 different people. Remember, I've worked with pro athletes. I've seen it. So, for me, however, a character is best defined by 2 different 7-year-olds I've met on my journey. First one came about 8 years ago at the University of Tennessee. I invited every year to speak at their Christmas camp. 450 kids come through this camp. So we break them up by age, 12 groups. 6 come through my section on Saturday, 6 come through on Sunday. So I talk about the mental side of softball 12 times. By the end of the second day, I have no idea what my name is. I'm like, just stick me on an airplane and get me home. So the running joke was that at the end of the second day, I got the littlest kids, the 7-year-olds. You know, when they're ready to go home. So they come in, they sit down, this is about 8 years ago. And front row, second seat, this little girl, she was the smallest little girl in the whole room, her feet dangled off the chair. And I asked the question, I said, what is character? And she looked up at me and she raised her hand, her eyes got real big. And I said, go ahead, tell us, what is it? And her hand went back down, her eyes got even bigger. I'm thinking, I need plan B because I'm about to make this little girl cry. But with this sweet, soft, gentle little voice, she looked up at me and she said, when you see a piece of trash, you pick it up. And I said, yes, that's it. That's it. That might be one of the best definitions I've ever heard. Why? Because it's that simple. It's about doing the right things. It's about being the right person, even and especially when it's not your trash. So then fast forward to the Believe and Achieve after school program at my local YMCA. Again, 7-year-olds. And I walk into the room and it's loud and people are jumping off the walls and I thought, okay, here's good. Let's just start talking and see what happens. So I asked the question, what is character? And the girl in front of me, you know when kids know something, ooh, right in your face. It's okay, I see you. How can I not? So go ahead. What is it? And she looked up at me without hesitation and she said, well, it's a role in a movie, of course. Yes. That is correct. And now I'm thinking I'm smart, right? Because don't we usually? I'm trying to think on my feet really quick, and I'm like, how am I going to get this to go in the direction I want it to go really fast? Okay, got it. So what if I said good character? What does that mean? Well, the little girl to my right in the pink coat was so very sure of herself. Raised her hand, she goes, I got this. I said, uh-oh. Okay, tell us, what is it? She said, well, the Little Mermaid, of course. So we went there, and there was no turning that train around. I'm in deep now, right? I'm like, now what? So I held my breath as you do when you ask a 7-year-old anything. And I said, why? And she said, well, I mean, that's easy. She's kind to others and she's nice. Mission accomplished. I knew what I was doing all along. Yeah, right. So see, here's what I learned very quickly. It actually wasn't at all about the answers they gave me. At all. Here's what I learned. I had to be smart enough to know that we can learn from anyone. There's an old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher shall appear. Those 2 days, I had to be smart enough to know that those 2 little girls were my teachers and I was their student. And we need to open our minds enough to recognize those moments. Because sometimes those teachers come in funny little packages, don't they? And then there's this word, Kaizen. How many of you have ever heard that? Cool. It's a learning day for the rest of you. So Kaizen is an ancient Japanese philosophy which talks about consistent improvement. It's about getting just a little bit better tomorrow than I was today. It's about doing something a little bit extra today than I did yesterday. I used to coach softball at the college level, and I decided that it would be a fantastic idea to implement what I called Kaizen push-ups. That's right. This is how that went. So after day 1 of practice, I said, ladies, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go ahead and circle up, and I want you to give me 1 push-up. Oh, and count it out. And they were like, did she say 1? Coach, 1? 1, right? 1. 1. Okay. 1. All right, ladies, thank you very much, and have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow. So they leave. Of course, I get jokes on the way out. Look how strong I am now. I can do it. Thanks for that push-up, coach. I was like, get out of here. So they leave, they come back the next day, and the next day they show up. And at the end of practice, I said, now today, ladies, here's what I want to have you do. I'm going to have you circled up, and you're going to give me 2 push-ups. Oh, and count them out. And they're like, yeah, coach, whatever. Stupid. 1, 2. All right, ladies, thank you very much. Have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow. So the next day they showed up. They did. Got some smart ones in here. The next day they did. 5. Just kidding. I love seeing the faces. I thought I was following this. Yeah, remember I was an English major. Math's not my strong suit. So every day they did 1 more. They did 4, they did 5, and this went on the entire season. Every time we met, both for practices and for games. Now, I'm going to tell you what I told them on day 1. I said, ladies, if at any time this gets too difficult, drop to your knees and finish that way. Because these were standard push-ups, right? I said, and if at any time that gets too difficult, go ahead and drop out completely and cheer your teammates on. That was pretty nice of me, don't you think? I gave them an out. You got that? I gave them an out. And not one time the entire season did anyone use it. Why do I know that? Because I watched. So, fast forward to the conference tournament at the end of the season. And we lose in the last game. I'm collecting my stuff out of the dugout, and I turn around, and there they are, in the right field corner, circled up, doing push-ups. Now, 6 of those girls were graduating the very next day. They never had to do another push-up if they didn't want to. In that moment, I realized they got it. Because, see, it wasn't just something they did. It became a part of who they were. It became a pride thing for them. They became the team that gets better every single day. We do one extra every day, and we get better. On that day, those girls did 67 push-ups. Bless you. Now, excuse me, let me ask you a question. If I were to tell you right now, we're going to clear out these chairs, we're going to circle up, we're going to do 67 push-ups, how many of you would say, oh no, we are not doing any of that? Raise your hand, raise them high, raise them proud, come on. If your hand's not up, I'm going to be calling you up here. Oh, look at her. That was awesome. Your face, man. That was great. All right, so let me ask you a question. See, they would have said the same thing. How do I know? Because I asked them. After they did it, I said, how many of you thought you could do 67 push-ups at once? And not one person said yes. And they just did it. I want you to hear this clearly. We don't know how far we can go until we go there. That's the truth. And so we do this thing to ourselves all the time. I can't do that. I can't. When really what you mean is, I don't know because I've never done it. Be careful where you put your can't. It becomes your story. And it becomes who you are. I read this amazing book a long time ago, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. Law number 1, the law of the lid. The law of the lid states you will never grow higher than your lid. Your lid might be your family, your spouse, your kids, your friends, your coworkers, your boss. 90% of the time, the lid is you. And you put it there and you say, this is all I'm capable of. What if you're wrong? What if you let go of the lid? The possibilities are endless. Why are we settling for less than that? So for me, character is picking up trash with the Little Mermaid. And there's that hair again. So let's talk about communication. We do it all day long, don't we? How many of you have ever had a miscommunication? Oh, you're human? Okay, good. Glad to hear it. How many of you had a miscommunication ever over a text message? He's like, shh. Yeah. That was just this morning, right? Why does that happen? What are we missing? Body language, context. When I used to, we would text, my friends and I, and if we knew somebody was maybe going to take it in the wrong way, we put in parentheses TOV, tone of voice. And you're like, okay. How did you mean that, right? So I'm going to venture to say that you will agree with this statement. We are technologically the most connected society ever. How many of you agree with that? But I think we stand on the edge of being the most disconnected at the same time. How many of you agree with that? Now, did you notice the difference in the two answers? Yes, we are technologically connected. Yes, I agree. Yes, we are disconnected. Yes. Did you see the passion in the second one? Because why? It doesn't feel good, does it? So how do we fix that? It starts with us. It starts with every single one of us in every single communication we have with others. That's how it begins. So we have this thing, though, that gets in the way sometimes, and I call them belief windows. We all look through different belief windows every single day. We all have different backgrounds. We come from different places. We were raised differently. We know different things. We have different experiences about stuff. And it gets in the way sometimes in our understanding of each other. So let me prove it to you real quick. I'm going to yell out, well, I'm not going to yell out, you're going to yell out. I have my pronoun, not to yell. I'm going to say 2 words. And I want you to yell back the first thing that comes to your mind. Are you ready? I'm scared. Those are not the 2 words. Here we go. Brussels sprouts. Okay, so I don't know why this works everywhere I go. Brussels sprouts are like the great equalizer. Okay, so this is how belief windows work. You just did it. Every single piece of information that comes in, you filter one of three ways. And this happens whether you know you're doing it or not. I said Brussels sprouts, I heard yum, delicious. Positive filter. I said Brussels sprouts, I heard ew, disgusting. Let me say they don't like them. Negative filter, right? You've never had mine, by the way. I said Brussels sprouts, I heard green, and I heard vegetable. Fact. Unemotional, I don't care. Got it? Okay. So you're doing this every second. You might be doing it right now. You're looking at me saying, I don't like her shirt. You're looking at me saying, I love her shirt. Right? Okay. She's like, no, I like your shirt. Thank you. She actually sang, I hate your shirt. Just kidding. So, we do this constantly. We do this every second of the day, every time we get information. Because what is the definition of communication? It's the exchange of information. It's that simple. So we're doing this, and you don't realize you're doing it. And we can't change that we do it. And you can't change that the person you're talking to is doing it. But here's what can happen. You can become aware of it. Here's how. I call this hashtag, come touch my side of the elephant. That's right. So, how many of you have ever said this? I've said it 1,000 times, I don't know why they don't get it. Anyone? Yeah, that was also this morning. So, do you think saying it 1,001 is going to make a difference? I'm going to say no. Here's the rule. It's called the rule of 3. If you said it the same way after 3 times and they still don't get it, quit. It's you. And I know you don't want to hear that. Some of you are looking at me like, it's never me. It is never me. It's not me. Oh, it's you. Here's why. If I were to come up to you and start talking to you, do you speak Greek? No. Okay, good. I did this somewhere once and I started using this example. He goes, excuse me, I'm fluent in Greek. I was like, forget you, moving on. Okay, so what's your name?
Miritza.
Really? Say it again. Miritza.
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Love it. Oh, did I nail that or what? Okay. Yes. So, trust me, I have a last name nobody can know. So, if I came up to you and I started to talk to you in Greek, okay? And I said it over and over, and you were looking at me like you are now. Okay, great. And I just, all right, let me do it again. And I did it again, and I did it again, and I did it again. Do you think she'd get it maybe after like the 20th time? Of course not. Why? She doesn't speak the language. We do this every day. We might even be speaking the same language, but we're really not. So I want you to pretend you've never seen an elephant before. How many of you are now picturing an elephant? You're like, oh, that big gray thing? You've never seen it. Okay, great. Pretend you've never seen an elephant. I'm going to have 3 blind men. Now I say blind, not blonde. I was somewhere a couple weeks ago, this woman in the front row, excuse me, why do they have to be blonde? And I was like, they can be whatever color hair you would like them to be. Blind, they cannot see. Okay? I have 3 blind men, and they're going to explain an elephant to you over the telephone. Are you ready? Blind man number 1 is standing at the tail of the elephant, sorry about his luck. And he's standing there and he's saying, okay, here we go. So, this elephant thing feels like a rope. And you're on the phone and you're saying, rope? I know what a rope is, right? I now must know what an elephant is. Thank you very much. Second blind man is standing at the other side and saying, you're wrong over there. Why are you leading them astray? I don't know what you're talking about. He's touching the tusk of the elephant and he says to you, you know what? This thing's like hard and solid. It's like a lead pipe. And now you're on the phone going, rope, lead pipe, 2 totally different things. Come on, guys, get on the same page. How many of you have ever said that? So then blind man number 3 is standing at the leg of the elephant, and he's like, you're both wrong. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm standing right here, I'm touching this thing. It's big and round and rough, it's like a tree trunk. And now you disgustedly hang up the phone. Because you're like, I don't even get it. You can't possibly all be talking about the same thing. Yeah, but they are. See, all we know is all we know. And that's it. And we're so engulfed in that stuff that's right in front of us, and we're looking at it, we're saying, I see it. See, I think we need more come touch my side of the elephant moments, don't we? Where we say, come on with me, and let's go over here, and let's look at this together. Oh, okay, I see. Now let's come with me, and let's go on this side. Oh, okay. I had no idea. I'm going to guarantee you that my view of this room is completely different than yours. How many of you would agree? And you know that immediately, right? Why? What do you need to do to see what I see? Stand in my shoes, or simply turn around. Turn around. There are a lot of moments that we need to do this better. It's almost like if I bought you a rose and said, here, I got you this, but be careful, don't cut yourself, these things are sharp. Who says that? You don't buy someone a rose and tell them that, do you? But if you only ever hold the stem, well, then that's what you know. See the big picture, take a step back. So let's talk about choice. Our third C. Choice is huge, isn't it? You made a choice on what to wear this morning. You all look smashingly fantastic. Congratulations. You made a choice on what to eat, what not to eat. You made a choice on how many of you had coffee. The rest of you, I will never understand. I walked in with my coffee. That was like my second or third of the day. We make huge life choices too, don't we? And if I go down this path, my life changes forever. And if I go down this path, my life also changes forever. And then there are those choices in between that we don't really talk about because we don't think they're that big of a deal, but they are. How many of you have ever had a bad day? Welcome to being human. Congratulations. What do you call that bad day? Monday? Excuse me. So I was in the grocery store one Monday, 11 a.m. If you've ever been to the grocery store at 11 a.m. on Monday, it's me and the retired folk. Okay. And there's usually one lane open. I have two things. The woman in front of me has an entire cart full of stuff. I'm like, well, luckily I'm not in a hurry. So I'm reading the tabloid headlines, trying to kill time, right? And I'm trying to see what alien landed this week. And I'm standing there, and I turn around, all of a sudden, the woman in front of me proceeds to drop her purse all over the floor. Oh, yeah. And I remember my very first reaction was, lady, you need to clean out your purse, because this is about to take us a half hour. So I kneel down in front of her, she kneels, and we're like face to face. And we're picking up her stuff. And it's like rolling into the next aisle. I'm like, here you go. Here's this, here's that. And she looks up at me, and she goes, it's Monday. And I said, yep. As a matter of fact, it is. You know what's crazy? Yesterday was Sunday. And I know you're not going to believe this, but tomorrow is about to be Tuesday. And I took a step back. I wasn't really sure what was about to go down here. And she just looked up at me very quickly and she went, So now we're picking up her stuff in silence, right? Here you go, here's your lipstick. So she turns around, she's paying, she puts her last bag in the cart. And I'm still standing there, smiling away. And she turns around to leave, and she looks back at me with this huge smile, and she starts to laugh. And she looked at me right dead in the eyes, and she went, thank you for that. And I said simply this: bad moments, not bad days. Bad moments, not bad days. That is a choice. Because we have those self-proclaimed bad days, don't we? And they look like this. You spill your coffee all over your favorite shirt, you rip a hole in your pants, you tripped over the dog, you dropped your phone in the toilet, which, by the way, the iPhone 7 is waterproof. Not like I know or anything. And the water was clean. I don't know why people want to know that. Just saying. And you haven't even left the house yet. And then you get into work, and what happens? Just don't talk to me right now. And you're like, give her a minute. And she says, it's just one of those days. And then we say this, what else could go wrong today? Why do we say that? Because you know what? Ladies and gentlemen, we get what we focus on. I'm going to prove it to you right now. I want you to look around the room and I want you to find something blue. Don't point at it, just find it with your eyes very easily, very quickly. Everybody get something? What did you find?
Beautiful jacket or sweater.
A beautiful sweater, way over yonder. Look down. Do you have any blue? Oh! Hint, hint, clue, clue. Okay, very good. I watched her purposely turn around and seek out. Right? Very good. What did you find? Yep, you.
Her neck.
Oh, the thing around her neck. What you got on, sunshine? Oh. No big deal. So, two things come out of this every single time I do it. Number one, we get what we focus on, right? You were thinking about blue stuff before I brought it up, were you? I mean, if you were, that's really weird. Right? Hopefully I'm not that boring. You're like, how many blue things are in this room? I gotta do red ones. Okay, hopefully you're not doing that. But the second part of that is that we often look way out here to find our answers when it's usually right in front of our face. Look here first. We don't do that enough. We're constantly seeking. Yeah. So then there's this thing, be here now. When I was in the corporate world, my boss was the most monotone, boring man I've ever met in my entire life. And his name was Bill. And every morning, we'd have to meet in his office. 6 of us for a meeting. We had meetings about having meetings. You know what I'm talking about. So we go into Bill's office every single morning. And this would be Bill. Okay, so after you see Joe, I want you to go take this and get a sign off from Bob. And then after you see Bob, and this would go on every morning. Go back to Joe. And I'd be sitting there. 8 a.m. Did I mention I don't do mornings? Okay. 8 a.m. with my big coffee. There was this small wooden block on the corner of his desk. And it simply said, be here now. And I would sit there every single morning and I would read it. Be here now. Be here now. Be here now. I'm sorry, what were you saying? Clearly it was lost on me then. It's not lost on me today. One of the most important things we can do is be present. Is to be here with each other when we talk about what's needed, how we need to bring connection back. We need to do more of this and less of this. Less this, more this. That's what we need. That's a choice too, isn't it? So let's talk about everybody's favorite topic, failure. How many of you say failure is bad? Raise your hand. Okay, the rest of you are lying to me. If you went back to school tomorrow, you got 41 out of 100, no curve. How many of you would be like, yep, failure is just great. Mom and Dad. Okay, oh, not that kind of failure. How many of you say failure is good? Raise your hand. Now you have no idea what to say, do you? How many of you say failure is both good and bad? Oh, I didn't know we had that option. Okay, if you say it's good or both, raise your hand and keep them up. Now you're not doing push-ups, you're just raising your hand, you're gonna be okay. You're like, it's Thursday, my hand only goes this far. Keep them up. Did I say put them down? How many of you want to be failures? Oh, I see how you are. You're like, failure is good, but not for me. Failure is good, but for that guy over there. Fail on. Okay. I studied failure for a year with a sports psychologist in Florida, and here's what we found. It was so eye-opening. We, as a society, are confused about failure. Because we're so ingrained. When is failure good? Did you hear that? Yeah. We are so, it's drilled in us. Failure is good. When do you learn from it? So, if I look up failure in the dictionary, does it say, see, it depends? I'm going to say no. Hence our confusion about failure. So here's what I learned, and this changed my life. Failure is actually neither good nor bad. Failure is just a thing. Failure is feedback. We, as human beings, attach emotion to everything, don't we? I mean, we even name our cars. I mean, I don't, Matilda, but, right? So, we attach emotion to everything, and when we have an emotional attachment to something, what happens? We can't let that go. So then we start to, oh, failure's good here, but it's bad here, but it's good here. Oh, and I don't want to own it, and this is, oh. It's exhausting. So the second I started to detach from the emotion of failure, I realized I got it. That's what it's about. Today, if I fail, if I am moving the direction that I want to go and I fall flat on my face, I am 5 feet, 11 inches closer to where I want to be. Stand up, keep going. That's it. That is failure to me now. That's a big difference. Detach from the emotion of failure, let it work for you instead of against you. Courage. Courage is a big one. It takes courage sometimes to just show up, doesn't it? Yeah. It takes even more courage to try to show up as your best self. Courage comes from the Latin cor, which means heart. And one thing that I learned a long time ago, Brene Brown said it best. Courage is to not be afraid to share your whole story with your whole heart. What does that mean? That means being authentic. It means being genuine. Because going back to that building relationships thing, how critical is that? But without being genuine and being authentic, well then what? We don't have that. And then it doesn't become a relationship. There's this word that I put up here, sawubona. Sawubona is a Zulu greeting, which means, I see you. What an awesome thing. Imagine if we went through life this way, if we connected this way, if we saw each other for who we are at the core level. Because see, I think all human beings want two things in this lifetime. We want to be seen, and we want to be listened to. Now notice I didn't say heard. I can hear the hum, I can hear people. That's not what I'm listening to. We want to be seen, and we want to be listened to. Imagine if we did that every single day. Imagine what would change if we really saw each other. I see you. We just had a moment. But see, that's what it's about. It's about look the world in the eyes. Take the time, because what do we often do? Hi, how are you?
Yeah.
And you're like, great, thanks. Why do we ask a question if we're not going to wait around for the answer? Let's engage more. Let's connect more. And then the light principle is how I try to live my life. Love, integrity, gratitude, honor, and truth. Very simple, but it's my check-in every single day. If I'm showing up as my best self, this is how I'm doing it. Love, integrity, gratitude, honor, and truth. Every day. And the last C is the word confidence. Confidence is big, really big. I call this the 9 pillars of confidence. We started I can't in everything we do, right? I can't, I can't, I can't. And then we work our way through, and your only job every single day is to try to change the words you say. It's a fun game, really. Until you get to I will, and the second you get to I will, you've done it. People are like, no, I thought taking action was the hardest part. I'm going to tell you something. When the why is strong enough, the how doesn't matter. When the why is strong enough, the how doesn't matter. I'm going to share my story with you to close. How confidence walked through my life. When I was 13, I was the tallest girl in the room. Anyone relate? Okay. Here was one problem, though. I hated being tall. I hated it for one simple reason. I didn't want to stand out. That was it. I would hear my friends, oh, I see her head down the hall. There she is. I'm like, oh, great. Every time I was around them, I'd always do the lean. Anything to get shorter, right? Because all my friends were short, of course. That's how it works. My yearbook picture, the class picture, looked like this. There was me. That was the heartbeat, the mountaintop or something. And then it came time for the 8th grade yearbook. We did that thing called superlatives. Most likely to do this, best this. Well, I was chosen most athletic for the girls in 8th grade. The boy who happened to be chosen most athletic boy, good old Josh Lipton, happened to be the shortest kid in the entire school. So it came time for the yearbook picture, and they lined us up in the cafeteria, and they get to Josh and me, and we're at the end. And they decided that it would be a fantastic idea to put Josh on a chair. Thank you, yearbook committee, you kept the chair. And I remember looking at this picture and thinking, oh my gosh, I'm a giant. Now, do you notice my lean? Do you see it? In my leg, and I'm leaning on the chair? I am just barely shorter than him. He's on a chair with my lean. I don't know who was more mortified, me or him. And actually, I tease him all the time, like, Josh, next time I'm in New York City, we're going to reenact this photo. That would be cool. See, I let something control me that I couldn't control. And so if you would have told that kid all those years ago, you'd be doing this for a living, sometimes on stages in front of thousands of people, I would have told you you'd lost your mind. I can't do that is what I would have said. And I would have owned it. And then I looked at what was that other thing? What's the other thing that I said I couldn't do? I wanted to write a book my entire life. And my entire adult life, I said, you can't write a book, you're nobody. You don't know how to publish a book, you can't write a book. And then October of 2012, something struck me. And I stood up from my chair one day and I said, why not me? And I couldn't answer the question. And so I sat down in October of 2012, and in December of 2012, 3 short months later, the book was published. And I share that with you because it is that simple. It's about making a decision and it's about taking action. And so my last one, I looked at my list, 127 things to do before I die, and I looked on there and I saw number 73. How many of you hate to run? I know you don't. Okay. I was the I can't run more than a mile kid. I was the, remember I told you I was a 3-sport athlete? I could hit the ball far and jog. That was awesome in softball. I played soccer. I was the goalie. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Okay. My third one is I ran the 4x100 relay. A couple seconds I was done. Get it? Okay, so no distance here ever. My friends would call me and say, hey, we're going for a run. Do you want to come? No. Why? Who does that? Take the car. If I'm running, you better run too, because something bad's about to happen. That's how much I hated to run. So number 73, run a 5K. And I said, I don't know why this is on here. But it's on here, I gotta do it. So I signed up to run a 5K in September 2013 in Princeton, New Jersey for Parkinson's. My dad's battling that. And I signed up 3 of my closest friends. And then I told them. And they don't run either. And so we showed up that morning. And the way I got them to do it really is I told them I'd buy them breakfast. You gotta know your friends. So we show up that morning, I pin on the race bib, and I look over and I'm like, I can't do this. And they said, like, bleep, you can't do this. You should put us in a car at 5 a.m. We don't run either, remember? Sometimes we need reminders. I had 2 goals that day. Finish it and don't die. And I'm happy to report, here I am. And so to close, I took this running thing and I signed up for the very same race the year later. And I had to go to a funeral and I couldn't do it, literally. And so I said, okay, I gotta do this again. And my doctor, who raises money for cancer, said, come run in our 5K Wonder Woman. And I did. In a wig, and a crown, and a cape. And I don't recommend ever doing that. It's really hard to run in a wig and a crown. But I'm gonna tell you, this kid who couldn't run more than a mile ran twice down Broad Street, 10 miles to raise money for the American Cancer Society. I've run a half marathon. And I've run 49 races since November of 2014. This kid who said, I can't run a mile. So know that you can change your story, that you can rewrite it, you own the pen, every single moment, pick it up and move it. Become who you were meant to be. With that, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to be here. I leave you with my contact information. I'm not a drive-by speaker. I say it all the time. If there's ever anything I can do to help you, please reach out. I would love to help you in any way. There's a feedback form on the table over here with the information about the book, but the second page is the feedback form, and I would love to get that back for you if you don't mind. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
I hope you enjoyed. Can we give another round of applause to Jim? Thank you to BRS for collaborating with me and the staff of OCRDI for this program. Thank you, Bernadette, for taking time out of your busy schedule and everyone who attended. We have a gift for Jim for being our keynote speaker. The plaque, token of our appreciation for her being our keynote speaker today. I also would like to acknowledge the people who helped me get this done. A webinar support from our office, Ms. Shayla Span, Jennifer Benitez, Ms. Fontella Worrell. I want to thank CTOD, I want to thank APIS Facilities, Dennis Training, Anson England, thank you so much. Arlisa Step for the budget support, and also Tammy Lowry for all the graphics, art, and support that she has given us. We have cake and Patricia brought fresh fruit, and we have water, so I hope that you take a few minutes to partake of that and to meet Jen, shake her hand, ask her any questions. Thank you so much.